Yeah. Wake y'all ass up. What time is it? It's 3:16. For some odd reason, I've been having technical difficulties all day. I shot this same video that I'm getting ready to do this morning around like 8 a.m. Here it is 3 o'clock. I can't figure out how to create enough room on this device for storage issues. But anyways, that's not the matter. But I'm definitely here again, you know, in order to open your eyes to a few things, you know. Maybe you sleep, maybe you ready to get woke up. Maybe you just tired. Maybe you sick and tired of being sick and tired. I know I am. You know, I'm just an aggrieved man looking for a remedy. That's it. Somebody who's aggrieved is resentful towards being done wrong. And the truth doesn't change. The same thing it was, the same thing it is. It is now. So you moving around, and in the ordinary course of your actions, you think that you need a license in order to move around, because the government said that you need a license in order for you to start your automobile, back out your driveway, and go in the ordinary course of your daily routine. If you want to use your mode of conveyance, your vehicle. Okay. What I do is I prove and I show and prove. I give you citation to authority as to why you don't need that. So if you're doubtful, I can show you what the truth of the matter is. Please don't doubt me. So you get pulled over by a constable on patrol, and he says, "Give me your driver's license." And you say, "Well, shit, I ain't got no driver's license." He tell you get out the car and he put you in cuffs for driving without a license. Okay? So at any time, as an American national moving in your proper person and your proper persona, you know that you have rights that's been secured to you by the organic Constitution for the United States of America. So if you're a national and not no registered corporate crap, you know that he can't attain parity with you. Yeah, he might lock you right here, but you get your remedy, right? So, with that being said, you know you have the right to travel upon the land, undisturbed by any statute. You have the right to travel on the land. So how do you substantiate your claim, sir? It's all about that status. And your status, you can only reserve certain rights per status. You can only exercise certain rights per status. So if you're the 14th Amendment citizen, a registered fiction with the public, you don't get rights. You get benefits and privileges. Benefits and privileges. So how do you get rights? You have to step into that status. So now when you're dealing with these corporate thugs, this mob, you got to go in there and know how to protect yourself and set up certain safeguards and then exercise your rights, because if you don't exercise your rights, it's a maximum law. He who fails to assert his rights has none, right? So, a license. What does the Black Law Dictionary have to say about a license? It's a certificate or a document itself which gives permission. Okay, this is Black's Law Dictionary, 4th edition, page 1067. And that's the definition of license. And a license has been defined as something that gives you permission to do something that will be otherwise illegal. So when did you moving your body at your own will or discretion become legal in any mode of conveyance? Huh? And how you do, and what you do is, and how you do it is, you let it be known for and on the record. But you don't argue, because we're honorable men, we're honorable women, and when we go into these public plays, the fact of the matter remains that you're not subject to it. But you don't bring argument, because you create controversy when you bring argument, and you traverse the charges. So if they didn't have authority, they did when you started arguing. And don't hire no attorney. Oh no, you submit to the jurisdiction of the court instantly. because he's an officer of the court. Your best interest isn't before the courts. An attorney is an officer of the court. So you hiring an attorney is like you coming to give me money to protect you from my little brother. Yeah, I'm gonna play you. I'm gonna make it look cool. I'm gonna act like I'm there to help. You already paid me, so I just secured the bag. And then as soon as my little brother get the swinging on you, I'm gonna swing on you too. That's what a lawyer is doing. You implying to the court that I'm incompetent to handle my own affairs and I need a lawyer to come guide me through this maze, this commercial maze of these legislative statutory courts. So where do you get to enforce your rights? Well, first of all, you got to kick that man out your steed. Because an attorney has only an attorney has a license. They can only represent corporate fictions. A bar card is not a license to practice law. A bar card is a membership card to the British Accreditation Regency. That's what BAR stands for. Started in Saratoga Springs, New York, in the late 1800s. So you got them out your steed. Now, these people are trying to transact business with you. So, we all know, well, no, we all don't, but these corporations or these governments are a fiction of the mind only, and they cannot attain parity with the tangible. You see, so the manifestation of this is that no court, agency, aspect, or law can concern itself, it can only concern itself with legal fictions and the contracts between them. So the law of the court has been contract since 1938. Go look up Erie Railroad, versus Thompson. It went from common law to contract law. So these people are trying to attain parity with you. You get in there and they start playing the name game with you. Hey, good morning. Are you John Doe? And here you go, ignorant, you don't know what's going on. Yes, I'm John Doe. Excuse me. You just traversed the charges. You just became the trustee for this constructive trust that's being perpetrated upon you. So when a prosecutor brings a charge into court, he's responsible for getting somebody to be liable for it, or he is. He brings a liability and sits in your lap. Sir, you were driving without a license. Oh, well, last time I checked, I had the right to travel. Well, how do you substantiate your claim? Because someone who is poor-minded, like a debtor, will go and argue. You're going into dishonor if you argue. You don't argue. So, then the Bible has said, agree with thine adversary quickly, lest he hand you over to the judge hand you over to the bailiff, and the bailiff casts you into prison. They ain't say bow down to your adversary quickly. They said agree with him. Reason with him. Come up with something. Y'all can agree to disagree. That's still an agreement. How are we going to do this? What are we going to do? Let's do it. Okay. So we all know that if they transact with you from the public side, it's just an offer. You get a tax bill from the IRS, it's just an offer. These are just offers. So what do you do as an American national going to the court and somebody has accused you of driving without a license? So you reach out to whoever's trying to conduct business with you. Be it the judge, the prosecutor, and it's the prosecutor because he's the one bringing that name into the court. He wants to put the hot potato in your lap. Okay, so since you press the charges, then I'm going to be directly dealing with you through a private administrative process. And that's your paperwork. That's your court. As a national, that is your court. So you have your judgment before you even make it to court. We have an agreement here. And there's a principle of law. It's called tacit admission or tacit procreation. Or acquiescence by silence. If somebody brings a claim forth against you, or if someone sends you an invoice or if someone sends you a charge, an indictment, a bill of warrant, it's an offer. We are trying to conduct business with you and establish a contract. What's the first thing you do as soon as you bail up in court? You sign papers. Sign this. Sign this. Sign this. Ooh, you cold with the pens. And you just sign away. And you know you feel bogus because you don't even know what you're signing. Last time I ever signed something was in 2017. But even then, I knew how to reserve my signature. So the last time I ever signed anything and I didn't know how to reserve my signature was in 2012. And you look at those court papers, it says, I hereby above agree to be in court on this above date. So guess what? If you wasn't guilty of it, you just made yourself obligated because you contracting with them. Even if you didn't automatically say guilty, you traverse the charge. You say not guilty, you traverse the charge. You say no low contender, you traverse the charge. You telling them either way I go, I'm taking responsibility for it. No, sir. I have a nationality to adhere to. The Moorish flag, the flag of my ancestors, my forefathers, which is red because of the blood stain on the land. And it represents just sanguine, the principle of who my forefathers was, I am, without a doubt or contradiction. And the flag behind me, the American flag, represents just so Lee. Latin, just the soil that you were born on dictates your citizenship. Boom, Illinois. That's my country of birth. I'm a Moorish American Illinoisan. They have the nationalities in the federal style printing manual. The government style manual. You're from Illinois, you're an Illinoisan. You're from California, you're a Californian. That's your country of birth. You go to Africa, Africa is the continent, but Africa is composed of 58 countries. So the United States is composed of what? Countries, states, countries. All right? You from Georgia, you're a Georgian. So as the man, you were born with the right to the land. So who can tell you that you can't move upon the land as you wish? So it just so happened that I wish to stand honored here, and I'm willing to accept any offer that you're ready to make to me upon your proof of claim. So what does that tell you? When we bargain with our homeboys all the time, hey, bro, let me get this. All right, man, I'm really trying to get this. All right, let me shoot you. We bargaining with them. What are we doing? We contracting with each other until we come to an agreement. If the state is making an offer, what does that imply to you? What does that imply to you if the state's making an offer? He's trying to get you, he's proposing to you something to get you to try to accept it. So if they had legal authority over you, do you think that they would ask you what you want? Do you think they would ask you what you want if they had legal authority to do what they were doing? Excuse me, it sounds like you consented. It sounds like you agreed to his offer, then he brings you a contract, which is called a plea agreement. You go to prison for 4 years, that's a plea agreement. You agreed to that. And they're going to ram it on you too. You got to fight, and you got to fight like hell. So if I make a conditional acceptance has the legal effect of rejecting someone's offer. I can reject your offer honorably, but guess what? I'm presenting another one. So you have the authority to dictate or determine the terms of your contract. You a national, and someone on the public side is trying to interact with you. How do you deal with it? Anytime that they send you mail or whatever it may be, it's an offer. It's an offer to contract. Sir, we're willing to give you a $400 fine and a conviction on your criminal record for a Class A misdemeanor for speeding 30 miles over the speed limit. I don't know. I don't want no conviction on the criminal record of my public person. No. So, but we don't fight. We come to terms. We don't argue. We come to terms. We reason. So upon your proof of claim means I state certain facts, and you have to prove this to the contrary. So the Department of Health and Human Services sends you a letter saying that we gave you $1,000 extra in SNAP benefits on accident, and you have to repay this $1,000 in the next 30 days. Or you can be turned over to this agency and other for, pursuit of action. Okay. I'll pay you $1,000 if you can show me where I became a surety for the errors of your department, and you show me the accounting where you suffered a loss, and then if it's satisfactory, I will pay you $1,000. That's a conditional acceptance. Now, the ball is in who? His court. I made the offer. Okay, you have 10 days to respond to my offer. 10 days go by. We come to equity with clean hands. We come to equity with clean hands. That means, guess what? I know you probably lost my paperwork. I know that your dog probably ate it. It got in the shredder on accident. You spilled your coffee on it. Impossibility, neglect, maybe a mistake. So here again, I'm going to make you or send you a copy of what I sent you the first time. I'm conditionally accepting your offer. We're contracting, right? So being that you didn't respond to my last correspondence, I'm going to send it again because I want to give you a chance. I would hate for you to go into default. That's called approaching equity with clean hands. You have to do that because that is the administration of the law. That is due process. You're giving him his due process. They don't give it to you, but you work as a national. You're honorable. So you don't bow down to their level and play their silly games. You a man on the land. You're not no corporate crap. You're not no corporate fiction. Ask him how the name is spelled. All caps. What's all caps? What all caps got to do with anything? I'm saying you need to show me in the English language where there's a provision for a name in all capital letters. Pull out your ID right now. Get your ID out. Look at it. Go look at your birth certificate, your social security card, your firearms identification card. Go get it. Anything or correspondence in the mail. The name is in all capital letters. Well, what they got to do with anything? Well, there's no provision in the English language for it. And Greg's Manual of English says that a name in all capital letters or a name initial is not a proper noun denoting a specific person, but is a fictitious name, the name of a dead man or a nom de guerre. Go to a graveyard. On everybody's tombstone, the letters are going to be all caps. All caps. He said a fictitious name. So the name of your LLC, the name of your business, your trust, whoever out in the public is going to be in all caps. Fictitious name, that's a fictitious name. Or a name initial. He said name in all caps or a name initial. It's not a proper noun. Okay? Proper noun has a first capital letter, then the rest lowercase. John, capital J, O-N, Doe, capital D, lowercase e. You standing in your status. So you got to go in there and you just got to stand on your square and stand on the law. You're not going there being fancy pants. I'm an aggrieved man making a special appearance as a third-party intervener here on behalf of the defendant to settle any charges outstanding. For the record, sir, that's who I am. I'm an aggrieved man looking for a remedy. Or are you there? Are you John Doe? Are you Terminal Mont? Who are you? I'm an aggrieved man. I'm here as a third-party intervener making a special restricted appearance. Making a special restricted appearance. A special restricted appearance, not to submit to myself to the jurisdiction of the court. And I quote from Farmers Trust Company versus Alexander. An appearance, de being they say, that's Latin, is designed to permit a party to a proceeding to refuse to submit his person to this jurisdiction of the court unless it is finally determined that he has forever waived that right. So that has a couple contexts when they say that word person, because person can be a natural person. Person could be a trust, an estate, a corporation, an Indian tribe, a limited liability company. These are persons. Go look at 28 U.S.C. 3002 subsection 10. And it defines person. And there's 10 different variations of the word person in there. So what type of refuse to submit his person to the jurisdiction of the court? I refuse to submit my body to the court as a surety for a debt to be paid off with time. No. You're not saying this. You know this. So you tread in the waters. You object when it doesn't sound right. Objection. You ain't got to be in there screaming, acting all crazy. You acting out of well, Your Honor, Mr. Such and Such is got caught with a objection. You need to be sworn in and deposed. If you're gonna testify, ones must be willing to put their commercial liability on the line under the pains and penalties of perjury, and then you make statements and bring claims. Other than that, we can't do it. You have nothing here. So, I need your proof of claim that, or could you prove to the contrary? That's what proof of claim is. So when you hear me say proof of claim, that means prove to the contrary the facts that I assert. All right? So can you, upon your proof of claim, can you prove that in Chicago Motor Coach Company versus City of Chicago, that the law read that the use of the highways for the purpose of travel and transportation is not a mere privilege, but a common and fundamental right of which the public and the individual cannot be rightfully deprived. No state government entity has the power to allow or deny passage on the highways, transporting his vehicles and personal property either for recreation or business. Travel is not a privilege that can be permitted at will with forced insurances, registration, and licensing, but a common and fundamental right of liberty granted by the Constitution. Can you prove to the contrary that the court didn't say that, sir? Can you prove to the contrary that, can you prove, what's your proof of claim? Can you prove to the contrary that in Thompson versus Smith, the right of a citizen to travel upon a public highway to operate an automobile is not a mere privilege, which the city may permit or prohibit at will? Can you prove to the contrary, sir? That in Shuttleworth versus Birmingham, that the law read that if the state converts your right into a privilege and issue a license and a fee for it, you can ignore the license and a fee and engage the rights with impunity. So what right do you waive when you accept the driver's license from the state? You waive your right to travel uninhibited because they can regulate that commercial instrument, which is the driver's license. They regulate that. So you subjected yourself to what? The state's authority. Period. You're accepting benefits and privileges from the government. We've abandoned our natural status once you contract with the state. Limited contacts, that's the doctrine. Minimal contacts with the state. Basically, you can have minimal contacts with the state and not waive your status if you know what you're doing. And this is one of them, a minimal contact with the state. I had a minimal contact with the state by having to come up here in court and let them know who I am and who I was, and therefore they can't trespass against the man on the land in a corporate fiction or corporate capacity. Can you prove to the contrary, sir, that in Collier versus Wallace, the court did not say that the acceptance of a license will not impose upon the licensee an obligation to respect or to comply with any provision of the statute or with regulations prescribed that are repugnant, which means to go against, the Constitution of the United States? This is what you send in your correspondence. I accept your offer. I accept your offer. Matter of fact, I'm willing to do the max on whatever you offer me if you can prove this to the contrary. It's real simple. This is mine. This 2-page affidavit. Real simple. I ride around with this. I ride around with this affidavit of fact, the right to travel on the land. What license? Affidavit of fact, right to travel on the land. It's your right to travel on the land, but it's a maximum law. He who fails to assert his rights, have none. You don't have any rights. If you don't speak up, somebody walk up on you right now and punch your tooth down your throat, and you don't defend yourself, then you don't have the right to defend yourself. Get your ass whooped. Can you prove to the contrary, sir, that in Reno versus Condon, that that the court did not say that activity licensed by the DMVs, the operation of motor vehicles, is related to interstate commerce? So, the 18-wheeler, yeah, he needs a license. The UPS truck, he needs a license. The FedEx man, he needs a license. The DHL man, he needs a license. 2 men in the truck, they need a license. U-Haul, they need a license. You a chauffeur? You need a license. You a taxi cab driver? You need a license. Those are commercial activities. You're a forklift operator? You need a license. You're a crane operator? You need a license. Are you an American national traveling on the land, uninhibited by any corporate fiction? Oh, you don't need a license. You're free to pass, sir. What make you an ex-con? What make you think that you? Oh, no. We learned the difference between the all capital letters and the living man. And there's a distinct difference between the two. And there are two juristic entities who are identifiable apart from each other. Okay? Makes sense? You play Monopoly, huh? You can't play the game without the piece. You got to use a piece to play the game. And you have to use your commercial energy, moving your arm. That's the most valuable resource, human energy. Yeah. Did you see these buildings and skyscrapers get built? Yeah, it takes money to build them, but it takes a human to put one brick on top of another, to strike a hammer, to hit a nail in. Human energy, right? You have to power up the game, so you have a piece to operate in commerce. That's your public fiction, your all caps name. But when you become a secure party creditor and you change your status within the eyes of the law and you separate yourself from the joiner that's been caused for you traversing charges for this entity over the course of all these times, signing contracts without reserving your rights, you go into court, you just signing away. You just signing away. This is how you sign. John Doe, you just sign. You liable. You liable for that. If you had went and got a loan for $100,000 on behalf of your LLC and you signed your name like that, if the LLC defaulted on the loan, you would have been liable because you didn't what? You didn't evidence your agency by John Doe, UCC 13-08, UCC 1-308. What is this UCC 1-308? UCC 1-308 is the Uniform Commercial Code. And at that clause, it allows you to reserve your rights not to be compelled to perform an obligation on a contract that you did not knowingly or willingly enter. So anytime you're on the public, you ought to be protecting your signature. Can't nobody tell you, oh, you can't sign like that, because I've seen it happen. Well, then you have the right to not contract with that person if you can't reserve your rights. You can't tell me I can't reserve my rights. But some of you people are going to let them. I've let them before because I didn't know any better. He who fails to assert his right has none. Sir, can you prove to the contrary that the claim and exercise of a constitutional right cannot be converted to a crime? Can you prove to the contrary that in Miller versus United States that the court didn't say that? The claim and exercise of a constitutional right cannot be converted into a crime. So me exercising my right to travel on the land, it can be converted into a crime? It said travel is not a privilege that can be permitted at will with forced insurances. Again, I'm reading the first one. Registration and licensing, but a common and fundamental right of liberty granted by the Constitution. I had to go back, and sometimes we forget. Well, we want to offer you a conviction on your criminal record for a Class A misdemeanor speeding 30 miles over. Okay, I'm willing to accept all the time you're willing to give me on that conviction for the criminal record and speeding 30 miles and over. If you can prove to the contrary that in Oregon versus Christine Dow, the court did not say traffic matters are not criminal. Can you prove anything to the contrary of that? Can you bring evidence? Can you bring evidence? Traffic infractions are not crimes. And we're nationals. We Article 3 bound. The judicial branch, the real law dealing with men, and women, and living souls, and tangible property. In order for me to get adjudicated, there must be an injured party before the court. And I have the right to confront that man or that woman. Where's the injured party? Oh, state of Illinois is the injured party. Okay, get him in here. Well, I'm the state's attorney. I didn't ask. You're the state's attorney. So that implies that the state is an entity outside of you, sir. I need to speak to the state or the state of Illinois. Okay, if the state of Illinois is the case, y'all need to get everybody from every county and every city on every street in here today, right now, to testify against me so I can face my accuser. Because they're not talking about the people. They're not talking about the people of the state. They're talking about their employees of their corporate fiction of the state of Illinois. In all caps. I'm on the land, the republic known as Illinois. So, for a crime to exist, sir, I'll accept whatever time you want me to do. If you can prove to the contrary, then a Scherer versus Cullen, the court did not say for a crime to exist, there must be an injured party. There can be no sanction or penalty imposed upon one because of the exercise of a constitutional right. It's getting real hard for me to believe that I need a license, man. It's getting real hard for me to believe that I've had a license over all these years and I was scared to move how I wanted to because this license said I can't do this or that. They said when you take a license, you agree to abide by the rules of the road. I want to preserve life, so I stop at the stop signs. I stop at the stop lights. I drive in consideration for other people. Or I travel in consideration for other people when I'm in my mode of conveyance, which is a vehicle. I need a license to do that? Excuse me. The makers of the Constitution conferred as against government the right to be let alone is the most comprehensive of rights and the right most valued by civilized men. I just want y'all to leave me alone. I ain't even trying to take it all that far, this and that, man. Y'all do what y'all got to do. We came to an agreement, just let it go. So, and this a heavy hitter right here. You were driving no license. We charged you with driving no license. We charged you with a headlight infraction. We charged you with a tail light. Your tint was too dark. Oh, well, okay. I'll pay the max on all those fines. If you can prove to the contrary, which is proof of claim upon your proof of claim, that in Wingfield versus Fielder, the court didn't say no license is required of the natural individual for personal business, pleasure, and transportation. No license is required. So we grew up to take driver's ed. We've been groomed real nice, ain't we? I done went and set days in the county for driving. Yeah. 30 days, 60 days. Driving with no license. I'm sitting there turning, and we don't, man, it's real light. I'll take that. That's cool. I'm straight. Not knowing you agreed to go be a surety for a debt that you didn't know. That's why we say I'm here as an aggrieved man. As a third-party intervener on behalf of the defendant, making a special restricted appearance to come settle any charges outstanding. I'm making a distinction between who I said, I and the defendant. So there's three parties, ain't it? I said I'm a third-party intervener. You have me, the living man, who's not subject to anything that they're running, but I'm administering my monopoly piece, my token. Somebody trying to take my token and lock me up for what my token did. Make sense? Then you got the plaintiff. I'm a third-party intervener because I'm the living man. And that's the fiction I control that you're trying to attain parity with me through. So So you're going to put that in affidavit form because you're a national. And the unrebutted affidavit stands as truth. He who leaves the battlefield first leaves by default, loses by default. Loses by default. So that just made him what? What did that make him? Liable. Let's see what Black's Law Dictionary had to say about liable. Bound or obliged in law or equity, responsible, chargeable, answerable, compellable, to make satisfaction, compensation, or restitution. That's what liable is. And that's what he's trying to get you to be. You don't go in there, according to this, that, and that, the day that I got pulled over, I had a license and I got a DMV issued from the license, but my license act got suspended for child support, so I paid my child support to get my license back. It wasn't supposed to be suspended on that day. And wrong answer. You're arguing the facts of the case. We're not arguing the facts of the case. We're standing on our rights through our private administrative remedy as nationals. We're not arguing what he said I did. I'm not arguing what you charging I did, because what you're charging is that instrument. What you're charging is that entity. I'm not answering for its charges. I'm here to make sure my estate doesn't get trespassed. I'm here to administer that. But I, the living man, have a right to travel undisturbed and unrestricted, as long as I respect the rights of others, as it should be. So this is a private correspondence between the parties. This is a private correspondence between the parties. And I sent it through who? My notary. That's how you put teeth in the process, because the notary is the witness. The notary is the custodian of the record. So who do you have? A sworn officer of the law to come testify to the facts of this if you need them in court. Don't be scared because he's talking fast and he's using his legalese. You better get up on game. You better go get you up. You better go get you a Black's Law Dictionary and learn their legalese. Yeah, because they're not speaking English in there. Person. Omaha tribe versus Wilson. The word person, when expressing a statute, is normally or ordinarily construed to not include the living man or woman. Person. You're not a person. And if there's 10 different variations of that in 28 U.S.C. 3002, Section 10, then you need to be identifying which one you're specifically speaking on. I'm here to remain in honor. Is this a court of record? Yes, it's a court of record. Well, let the court take judicial notice that the judge and the prosecutor both swore an oath to uphold and defend the Constitution for the United States of America. Status, jurisdiction, and adjudication. But you want to hold that jurisdiction issue in your back pocket just in case you got to go pull out a big gun. Because we don't want to go in there ruffling people's feathers. We got to be wise as a serpent, but soft and harmless as a dove. We have to be wise. You don't go in there causing trouble and ruckus. You a national. They call you up too early. Hey, I voluntarily wait to the last. I wait to the end while you shear your sheep. Because if I go in there with this authority and my sword drawn, ready to resist, they gonna make me look like I'm crazy. I'm not here to wake up nobody. I'm here to make sure that my business gets taken care of and I don't get any trespasses or wrongs done towards me. That's it. I'm standing on it. And I'm not letting you put liability in my lap. Simple. I'm not going here jaw-jacking and, Your Honor, and having these great constitutional debates. Man, sit your dumb ass down, dude. Ain't nobody on that. We just want to go home at the end of the night. And you tired of being screwed around and screwed over? Them people do what they want to do. Well, he who fails to assert his rights has none. Simple. Simple. He who fails to assert his rights has none. Well, and none of this is construed to be legal advice. So now, what does your private administrative process do? Your conditional acceptance. It forms a binding contract. So you got two witnesses on your behalf, the notary and the mail. You have a binding contract here. That's a judgment in law, and it works as an equitable estoppel against any offers that they're prepared to make the day that you come into court, because your paperwork is the court. We on the private side, baby. We on the private side. We keep our remedy on the private side. Oh, sir, are you an assistant state's attorney? Yeah, I am. So you acting as the head state's attorney when he's not here, as an assistant, right? Okay, then, well, here's a contract that you and I have. I know you didn't have a copy, but I made a copy today, and could you please give a copy to the judge to put in his private evidence file so he can view it in chambers? You speak in an intelligent tone, you get a favorable reply. No. You think you finna go in there and go get your way, go in there playing crazy? You're gonna go straight into dishonor. Then you become liable. You've abandoned your position as the creditor. Guess who's indebted to you? The trustees of the public trust, the estate of Illinois, the estate of California, the estate of Missouri. These are public trusts. You register your automobiles with them. You register your boats with them. You register your homes with them. That's a trust. Transfer of property. Go watch my video. What's a trust? A trust is a transfer of property. A legal title holding right into the hands of the trustee for the equitable use of someone else. Sound like your vehicle? That's my vehicle. I paid it off. Well, yeah, you probably did pay it off. But your vehicle's registered with the state, sir. Those are the state's plates on the back of your car. You have a state driver's license. And these are evidences of what? The contract with the state. Okay? Contracts. These are evidence of that. You pull up on a police officer, or he pull up on you, and you hand him a state ID, oh, he know he has authority over you. You hand him an instrument that he has jurisdiction over. You hand him an instrument that he has jurisdiction over. So according to UCC 3-505, this administrative process that you have here is what? Evidence of dishonor. Right here, I conditionally accepted your offer. You didn't respond back in the first 10 days I allotted. I sent you another correspondence, give you another chance to make your fault right. So that was my notice of fault and opportunity to cure. And I gave you 3 days, maybe 5 days, 7 days to respond to that. However you see fit. And so after that, your dishonor and your silence was certified through a notarial protest. I went to court. This is my judgment. I'm invoking the Article 3, the judicial, the remedy. This is my judgment, and this is an equitable estoppel to this proceeding right here, right now. You're barred from making any claims because you failed to respond to correspondences in regards to accepting the offer that you made the other party. Simple. Simple. Oh, we didn't get that. Well, you didn't get it, huh? Well, this return receipt says otherwise. Huh? Oh, yeah, go get you a notary. You're going to have to pay for her services. An affidavit of mailing. My notary dropped it. My notary put this in the mail. We doing it the right way. That's a notarial protest. Okay? So, you can't say you didn't get this. You can't say you didn't get this. You didn't write back, you didn't respond to nothing. You're in default, sir. You're in default. If somebody brings a civil action against you right now, and you go to court, and they go to court, and you don't come, guess what's going to happen? They're going to get a default judgment against you. Now you owe. You didn't answer, and you didn't come. That's called a what? Tacit admission. Tacit procreation. That means not directly expressed, but implied through action. Tacit. I didn't answer. I didn't have an answer because what they said was right. So you go to court through your filings. You make an appearance on the record through your filings. So if you do have to come to court in an effort to stay in honor, which we do as nationals, then we have our judgment, which retroactively acts as an estoppel, an equitable estoppel. That's how we demonstrate. But you got to stand on that. It's going to be an uphill battle. I ain't going to let you, it's not, none of that. It ain't sweet. You got to stick with this. This ain't for the faint of heart. And this is a lifestyle. This is a lifestyle. So we moving in the science of, So whoever it may be, a court, a bill collector, light bill, any type of invoice from the public can be counter-offered. They send you mail, it's an offer. What do? Throw it away? There you go. You're not going to win nothing. They taking money out your check? Oh, well, if they made it to the point where they taking money out your check, an administrative process has been served on you. You wasn't opening the mail, so you didn't know it. Because if you don't send it back or return it to the sender, you've been served. And if you didn't owe, but now you do, because you didn't do nothing. Silence, dishonor. Stand on your principles. You don't need licenses to travel upon the land. So if you find any of this informational, educational, then like and subscribe. Email will be in the bio, link be in the bio. My other social medias and things of that nature. I'm just putting you up on a little bit in the game. And prosperity is your birthright. Peace.